The King of Fighters. Select member.
Lillien Knights!
Got to be honest with you guys, when that Team Garou trailer first dropped, I got way more excited for the opportunity to use B.Jenet again. Rock and Gato are cool and all, but this was the character that brought me the not wins, I got stomped playing Garou online. But she was the most fun to use and my main for the game. Wasn't hard to find out that she was the one for my main stable. She's got an enjoyable personality, she's a pirate, she's sexy, and she's got that playstyle that speaks to me. It's the kind that says, fuck defense, I need to run in and press buttons. That hits home, man. B.Jenet, real name Jenny Byrne, has a moveset that brings that mantra to life. With air attacks that allow her to stay dangerous off the ground, a projectile that locks opponents on the ground if they don't cough up the meter, and many quick normals and specials that keep her safe on block, this lady has some of the most oppressive offense and pressure in the game. She's just got one tiny little problem. No defense. Like, at all, with the exception of one super that's going to lead to further beatings if it gets blocked or it misses. There are no specials to be found that have invincibility on startup, which makes Jenny a real feast or famine character. If you get her offense rolling, there's very little that can stop it. But if she does get stopped, then you better have some bars for a guard cancel because she's got no way out otherwise. The fact that you need bars just to defend with her, and that her combos ask for a little more meter than other characters, to me says anchor. Also, come on, she's a pirate. Gotta fit the theme where you can. The normals may not look the part, but these are some quality moves due to the number of them available for special or whiff canceling. Other than far heavy kick, all of these normals can be special cancelled, meaning that you don't have to get up in the opponent's grill to keep the pressure going. And every normal other than the two standing far kicks are whiff cancelable. Last thing, both kick buttons can be used for cross-ups, but jumping light kick is much easier to do it with. Now if you're looking to follow up any of those with a command normal, you've only got one choice, and that is Rolling Thunder, down forward and heavy kick. This very unique move was her top attack back in Garou, which only hits twice if the first hit connects. Otherwise you just end up with a big backflip that puts Jenny on a T, unless you cancel it into Harrier B or her air super, which can be done anytime before that flip at the peak of the jump. But if it does hit and you let the move go, it causes a hard knockdown. Setting up, Buff Ras, her first special done with a quarter circle forward and punch. The heavy version of this move is your standard issue ground projectile, and the EX version goes through non-EX projectiles and sets opponents up for juggles in the corner. Cool, got those two out of the way, now let's talk about this light version, which is what actually shines. So let me kick off this move that I'm hyping up by saying, it sucks ass if used for any other purpose than what I'm about to talk about. It has way more startup and recovery than the other two versions, it does the least damage, and the projectile barely moves. But like any good specialized tool, the one thing it does well, it does really damn well. And that is powering B.Jenet's Oki game. If you don't know what Oki, short for Okazeme, is, it's basically the act of continuing to put pressure on your opponent as they're getting up. Normally, this results in eating some kind of reversal move like a DP, but when the attack hitting the opponent isn't coming from a fist but a projectile, things change. So let's say you score a hard knockdown with something like Rolling Thunder or her air grab in the corner. Oh yeah, she's got an air grab, should have mentioned that earlier. But anyways, you get a hard knockdown, throw this baby out. What was once a negative with the near zero movement suddenly becomes a big positive, as your opponent is going to have to deal with a multi-hitting projectile the moment they fully get off the ground. This leaves them with a few options. They can get hit, which I wouldn't recommend, but hey, you do you. They can block, the most common outcome, which you can then use to poke them with a low, a quick overhead strike, or just continue putting on the pressure. They can burn meter with a guard cancel, or they can go with the spicy, perfectly timed invincible reversal if they've got it. You can just block then punish this if they don't get hit trying to time it right. As you can see, this is a pretty good move. I recommend you learn how to utilize it properly, as it adds so much to the overall pressure game Jenny is already good at without this move. Next special to go over is Crazy Ivan, quarter circle back and punch. This multi-purpose move with nice horizontal range will mostly see use as a combo ender or combo filler depending on the situation. Light version is the fastest, heavy is a bit slower and hits a bit harder, and the EX version does way more damage and causes a crumple. Now that would already be enough to make this a quality move, but Crazy Ivan can also be used to either negate or reflect projectiles, although it's nowhere near as good as Chizuru's. Light version makes normal projectiles disappear, heavy is the reflector, but again it only works on normal projectiles, and the EX version can reflect EX projectiles. Make sure to have the slightly longer startup of heavy and EX versions in mind if you try to reflect something. Gulf Tomahawk is next, quarter circle back and kick. This move functions very similarly to Rock's overhead kick. It looks like an overhead, but the light version actually isn't. The heavy is an overhead, but it has a ridiculous amount of startup, and both work as a nice counter to projectiles. The EX version actually is a quick overhead this time though, but as a trade-off it has a much worse range and the jump height is reduced. Harrier B is a very interesting move. Done with down and kick in the air, this looks like some kind of aerial movement option at first, and it sort of is, as the light version sends Jenny on a high arc while the heavy sends her straight towards the opponent. But press kick 4 times after activating the move, and you'll get a 4-hit combo that extends her airtime. This makes the move a nice combo ender or filler, as it can cancel Rolling Thunder, Jumping Heavy Punch, and Jumping Blowback. You won't be getting any combos with that last one, but you can use the extended air from those whiffed kicks to stay close to an opponent that gets hit by Jumping Blowback. It can also be a cheeky counter against a dashing opponent, as it can be activated during a backdash. And the last thing about this move is the EX version, which allows B.Jenet to activate the move while jumping backwards, something that the heavy and light versions can't do, as well as doing more damage and reducing the height she gets on that last kick, making it so she lands first. Last special is the Hind, quarter circle forward and kick. This 2-hitting special is the most damaging of B.Jenet's specials, but the sizable startup and glaring unsafety of this move means that it should only be used as a combo ender, unless you hit the brakes on the heavy version. If you press both light attack buttons right as the second hit connects on the heavy Hind, Jenny will stop and the opponent will be sent in the air for a juggle. The timing for this is pretty forgiving, but still make sure you practice this as it's crucial to her combos. 2 supers round this out, starting with many torpedoes. Double quarter circle forward and punch. Like many other supers, there's not too much to say here. It's a straightforward move. But this one is usable in the air, so don't forget about this if you land any special not named Crazy Ivan or Buff Ras. The last super is something I alluded to at the start. This is Aurora, double quarter circle forward plus kick. And this is the only move in Jenny's repertoire that has invincibility on startup. It also covers quite a lot of diagonal space, making it a nice anti-air move. Just don't miss. It leaves the pirate lass a bit open. And before we get to the game plan, just one last quick thing about her climax. If it cancels a special or super, it starts off with a kick, but otherwise Jenny has to be hit with a physical attack right at activation for it to work. Man oh man, if you are using B.Jenet, you better have a good grasp of her offensive tools, and then beat your opponent over the head with said tools over and over again with no stoppage. You can use her cancelable far normals in conjunction with specials like Crazy Ivan or Gulf Tomahawk to slowly back your opponent into the corner where rushdown characters like Jenny thrive. But regardless of your screen position, a good thing to fish for is a hard knockdown that's followed up with light buff ras. Keep the opponent locked down with this combination until they make a defensive mistake that can then be punished with EX Crazy Ivan, EX Harrier B, and a heavy hind break. You fight fire with fire if Jenny is your opponent. Her lack of meterless defensive options means that she has very limited answers to any offensive onslaught of your own. Stay upright and keep beating her back until she makes a defensive mistake of her own. Then repeat the process until victory.
Decide the entire match! Let's go!
Hope this guide helps you chart out a course that has you find a beautiful victory with B.Jenet. Please like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Viva Lillien Knights!
All eyes are on the winner of that fierce fight! Winner!
負けてショック？なんなん？私と戦えて